wake of new revelations that the president paid no income taxes in 10 out of 15 years, we take a closer look at what the average Arizona resident paid.
Plus, an ICE detention center in Eloy, Arizona, handling hundreds of COVID-19 cases in the facility. Here are families' concerns about their loved one.
And the efforts underway right now to help the Navajo Nation, which has been hit especially hard by COVID-19.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Mackenzie Allen-Charmley.
And I'm Dylan McKim. Thank you for joining us. In 2016, President Trump broke a decades-old tradition of presidential nominees releasing their tax returns. His first term has been plagued by suspicions of what could be lurking in those returns. But now, at least part of that mystery has been solved. And it appears that most average working people have been paying a lot more than Trump in taxes, including Arizonans. Sean Rice reports.
For much of Donald Trump's tenure as president, the details of his tax returns have been widely questioned. But just 2 days before the first presidential debate, a New York Times report shed light on whether or not the president paid his fair share. According to a New York Times investigation, Trump paid only $750 in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017, and he paid no federal income taxes in 10 of the last 15 years before he became president, because he reported losing much more money than he made. Founder and principal of Radix Law, Jonathan Fruitkin, explains how likely it is for someone like the president to pay little in taxes.
It's unique in the sense that there are very few people that are part of the top 1% that pay almost no taxes. But it's also not unheard of either.
According to the National Priorities Project, the average Arizonan in 2016 paid $11,264 in taxes.
It is a lot less than the average Arizonan pays in taxes, although we don't know information about property taxes that he's paid, and we don't know about his state tax payments, although we suspect his state tax payments were equally low, if not zero.
After declaring losses 10 years ago, Trump received a $72.9 million refund, which is currently under audit by the IRS.
Irony is that this huge tax refund was a gift from President Obama. In other words, there was a change to the tax code during the Great Dip in 2009 that allowed people to take losses retroactively. That is what President Trump did and got him this huge refund. It's an audit because there were a lot of questionable deductions that he made, and the IRS is a relatively slow process that he's going through, but I'm sure that there's a lot of infighting about which deductions were proper and which were not.
During the White House press briefing, Trump responded to the allegations, calling it fake news.
First of all, I paid a lot, and I paid a lot of state income taxes, too. The New York state charges a lot, and I paid a lot of money in state.
Joe Biden's campaign says the Times report is another example of the big contrast between Trump and the Democratic nominee. And the Arizona Democratic Party released a statement saying, quote, Trump exploited loopholes to pay just $750 in federal income taxes, while pushing through a tax scam that overwhelmingly benefited the wealthy and well-connected like himself. Fruitkin believes that the upcoming November election will have little bearing on Trump's financial standing.
When you look at rich people's taxes, it's always a little bit complicated, and we don't know a lot of things here. But what we do know from the New York Times analysis is that he's made an awful lot of money on his image, and I have a feeling even if he loses in November, he's still going to be a winner come next year.
The tax return data obtained by the New York Times does not include Trump's personal returns for 2018 or 2019. In the broadcast center, Sean Rice, Cronkite News.
He's made his pick and he's made it clear. President Trump wants to see Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the Supreme Court before the election. But that's less than 40 days away. So what would a fast-track confirmation look like? White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows says it starts with getting senators on board.
And making sure that all the senators are well informed of the judge's credentials, which are impeccable, but we're optimistic that we'll be prepared.
He says they'll plan to start making their case to senators today and be on the Capitol Hill as early as tomorrow. Barrett will also be there Tuesday to meet with several people, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, there's a tight timeline Republicans are working towards to get the confirmation completed in just about 2 weeks, starting in mid-October. That would put the final vote on the Senate floor just days shy of the November 3rd election, putting the Senate on track for one of the quickest confirmations in modern history. No Supreme Court nominee has ever been confirmed after the month of July during a presidential election year.
The ICE-run La Palma Correctional Center in Eloy has reported almost 400 cases of COVID-19. Cronkite News reporter Spencer Hardenberg shows us why family members and activists are questioning the facility's transparency about the outbreak.
La Palma Correctional Center, located south of Phoenix in Eloy, Arizona, has been hit hard by the pandemic. Phoenix resident Dulce Granados says her husband has been held there for over 2 years now.
It's inhumane that they have people at risk. People who have a lot of time in that place are with people who are positive. They are mixed with new people who are entering the place.
As of September 27th, La Palma Correctional Center has reported 385 confirmed cases of COVID-19 among its inmates.
That is the highest number of coronavirus cases among immigration detention centers in the entire nation. Lizzie Price of Accountable.us, an activist group, said these numbers are just unacceptable.
Failed to test detainees. They have deported even immigrants that have tested positive for the virus.
Yasmin Pitts O'Keefe, an ICE public affairs officer in Phoenix, sent a statement to Cronkite News indicating ICE was able to expand testing to the La Palma Correctional Center. This test was part of expanded saturation testing, which included over 1,000 detainees, most of whom were asymptomatic. ICE remains committed to providing accurate and timely information, all while keeping in compliance with CDC guidelines. La Palma Correctional Center, which can house up to 3,060 detainees, is one of 2 privately run immigration and customs enforcement facilities in Eloy, Arizona alone. La Palma Correctional Center is operated by private company CoreCivic.
In a statement released by CoreCivic, their manager of public affairs, Ryan Gustin, says, "We have rigorously followed the guidance of local, state, and federal health authorities, as well as our government partners."
Lizzie Price still questions the whole situation and believes that a lack of transparency has been an issue.
And I think it's hard to get a little bit more specific here because we don't know what they're not telling us. and so that's a really big problem.
Granados now believes that it is a waiting game until she can see her husband out of La Palma Correctional Center.
If everybody is in quarantine, how are they going to have less cases if they have people who tested negative with people who tested positive?
Spencer Hardenberg, Cronkite News.
Navajo Nation health officials are reporting 18 new confirmed cases of the coronavirus and 3 additional deaths. That brings their total numbers of cases to 10,290, with the known death toll at 555. Tribal officials said nearly 105,000 people have been tested on the vast nation that covers parts of Arizona, Mexico, and Utah. 7,250 of those have recovered from COVID-19. The Navajo Nation has implemented a stricter weekend lockdown as it looks into new clusters of coronavirus cases from family gatherings and off-tribal land travel. Now residents are being required to stay home from Friday night until early Monday morning.
Although the Navajo Nation has been hit especially hard by COVID-19, the tribe has fought back with mask mandates and curfews. And with the help of volunteers, the nation is holding a series of relief drives to hand out supplies. Video journalist Luke Simmons visited the nation to see this work firsthand.
It has been devastating for my people and my surrounding areas. We have lost way too many people. The care of my people wasn't there initially. It came on thick. It stayed for quite a long time. Like I say, we just lost way too many people in this pandemic.
Many people are having some hardships throughout the Navajo Nation and clear across the country. These food and supply distributions are helping a lot of our families here on the Navajo Nation get through the week, and most importantly, they're staying home a little bit more. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's bring it up. We received the CARES Act funding a little late, a lot late. What we're doing right now is utilizing some of those monies so that we can get families that are struggling in our communities here on the Navajo Nation with food and hygiene kits so that they can have masks available, because we mandate masks in public now. This is an example of resilience and overcoming tough times. You know, it would have been easy, I think, for tribes throughout the country, because they weren't getting the direct funding from the federal government, to easily just say, oh, poor us, or we can't do it without it. But many tribes, 574 tribes throughout this country, took it upon themselves to help their people.
One family.
I hope we remember it, how we've acted in order to save ourselves and save our fellow people. And I just pray and I hope it does not come some of this magnitude and this kind of virus doesn't come among my people at all in the future.
President Nez hopes efforts like this one will limit grocery store trips and help reduce the spread of the virus on the Navajo Nation.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, the battle off the field. Why experts are concerned about the mental health of young athletes during the pandemic.
And the CDC releases COVID-19 guidelines for Thanksgiving 2020. After the break, how to keep you and your family safe this holiday season.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
Everyone has secrets. Are you protecting someone?
I have no choice.
You do have a choice. You're looking at him.
That's amazing. We could be standing on top of a T-Rex right now.
Women demanded new space and pushed the boundaries of what being a lady means.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Friday Night Lights back in the Valley this weekend as high school football returns to the gridiron. Some big games kicking off this Friday night at 7. Centennial at Hamilton, Chandler at Liberty, Higley at Mountain Point, Brophy at Notre Dame Prep, and Chaparral at Saguaro. Fans will be limited to this in the stadiums to start off the season. As of now, the championship games are slated for December 11th through the 12th.
Inconsistency has led to a major increase in depression and anxiety rates in young athletes. Cronkite News reporter Reed Harmon takes a deeper dive into this growing concern.
68%. That is the percentage of high school athletes who reported signs of depression in the midst of the pandemic. This metric is from a study done by the Department of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation at the University of Wisconsin. That number is twice what it was prior to COVID-19.
The mental health of our kids have been an increasing concern every week, every month that we have not been able to get back to some type of normalcy.
On one hand, you have the isolation. On the other, you have this sense of doom and dread with everything going on around us, especially when infection rates are really high.
Now, sports are back. Or are they? That's a question these players have been asking for the past 6 months. It has been the mental battle of whether they will be here
or here.
just so many highs and lows and what's going on and what's not. And, one day we're playing and one day we're maybe playing and maybe we're not and maybe we are. And now we're playing with a maybe.
You guys know how to install.
According to that same Wisconsin study, physical activity has hit a new low for high school athletes. In fact, since COVID-19 has surfaced, activities have decreased by 50%, while anxiety has increased by 65%. Stagnancy is unforgiving, whether it be mentally or physically.
This is like dealing with a major injury where you haven't been able to do anything for 5 months.
With limited practice time, team bonding mainly consists of turning on a camera and seeing a 1-inch box of each teammate. When teams get the green light to return to the field, the green light on the camera will finally be turned off.
Not being able to be there for them, is tough. I mean, I'm there for them, but not completely understanding, what they're going through.
In the meantime, practices will continue, but uncertainty remains the same. For Cronkite News, I'm Reed Harmon.
The Arizona Interscholastic Association recently announced sports are back for the fall, but they have protocols set in place if there is another spike in COVID-19 cases.
As the holiday season approaches, the CDC has released its guidelines for Thanksgiving gatherings. While high-risk activities like shopping and congested stores and attending crowded parades are usually common around this time, the CDC recommends having a small dinner with members of your household instead. They also suggest shopping online and participating in virtual gatherings.
Finally tonight, Amazon announcing today that Prime Day is set for October 13th and 14th. The 2-day annual sales event usually happens in mid-July, but was postponed this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. Prime Day is Amazon's version of Christmas in the summer, with sales routinely outpacing Black Friday. The e-commerce giant has never held it this late, and never in the fourth quarter, which also includes Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Amazon has thrived during the pandemic as consumers purchase more goods online and limit store visits. The company reported $88.9 billion in sales during its latest quarter, ending in June 30th. That's a 40% jump from the same period a year earlier.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.